And 2022 CR 4932B, State of Texas versus Mr. Martinez. Are both sides ready to proceed, State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, State, do you have your witness? You want to already put them on the stand?
Yes, Judge.
All right, we're ready.
All right, for the jury.
All right, everyone, please be seated. I hope you all were able to find a place to eat and had enough time. All right, State, call your next witness, please.
The state calls Detective Mark Morales.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. If you'll make sure you keep your voice up for members of the jury and the court reporter.
Yes, ma'am.
If you'll state your name for the record.
Mark Morales,
All right, State.
Detective Morales, who do you work for?
San Antonio Police Department,
And how long have you worked for SAPD?
going on 22 years,
And what is your current position with SAPD?
a detective.
And so have you received more training than the average patrol officer?
Correct.
What type of training did you receive to become a detective?
Investigative, interrogation, fingerprints, basic stuff that detectives do.
So a little bit more advanced than what patrol has.
Correct.
And how long have you been a detective for?
Going on 10 years, got a couple of months shot from that.
And back in February of 2022, what division were you in?
The homicide,
And what division are you in now?
patrol.
And how long have you been with patrol?
With patrol, since I've been promoted to detective or at the beginning of my career,
From homicide to patrol, how long have you been?
about a year.
And were you working on February 21st of 2022?
Yes, sir.
And were you called out to a shooting?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember where were you called out to?
It was at the corner of Blanco and West Mariposa.
And is that in Bexar County?
Correct.
And when you arrived at the scene, why is it important that you go to the scene?
I was the lead detective for that case.
How is it determined who's the lead detective for a case?
We go through a roster. As soon as you handle a case, you get thrown to the bottom, and then first up gets the next case.
So it's kind of just like a
Rotation.
There you go. Thank you. Now, when you got to the scene, what did you do?
I began to gather the facts from the officers that arrived at the scene first. Look to see how many witnesses and if they had anyone in custody.
And in regards to this case, was there anyone in custody?
There were 3 people detained at the time.
And where were those 3 people taken?
They were taken to headquarters.
And did you end up interviewing any of the people that were taken?
Yes, sir.
How many people did you interview?
1.
Now, before we get to that interview, whenever you were at the scene, did you walk around?
Yes, sir.
What are you trying to do when you're walking around?
Gather the facts, support the evidence that's located.
Would it be fair to say you're trying to get an idea of what happened?
Correct.
And while at this scene, did you watch any video?
A short video, yes, sir.
Where was this video from?
From inside the convenience store located at that corner.
And what did that video show you?
It showed me the incident that took place.
Now, did that video have all the information from that incident?
No,
Okay, and in fairness, you ended up watching quite a bit of video for this case.
yes,
And does it turn out, did you watch all the video?
no, sir.
were you made aware of other video that was existing that you didn't have in your custody?
Repeat the question, sir.
Were you aware of any video that existed that you just weren't aware of whenever you were conducting the
was.
investigation?
Yes, sir.
And have you had a chance to review that new video?
Yes.
So I want to point you to, it's the original video that you saw. And I'm showing you what's already been marked and entered as States 52.
It should be on this screen here as well.
Has a glare. Your Honor.
Oh, okay, sure. Then turn around.
So I'm stopping the video at 14:27:15. Do you recall that day seeing this video at the scene?
Yes.
Did you see the full video?
No, sir.
But did you see the relevant portions?
Yes.
I'm gonna play from 14:27:15. I'm also going to zoom in on the video. Now I'm stopping the video at 14:28:24. So prior to speaking to anyone, you were able to at least to view that portion of the video.
Yes, sir.
And after watching the video here, what did it appear to you? What does it appear to you that is happening in this video?
A robbery that is taking place.
And what led you to that conclusion?
The way the person standing outside the car, he puts his hands up, it's taking off his shoes, and a person jumps out from the backseat with the gun in his hand.
And so you did interview one of the,
Yes, sir.
and who was that individual that you interviewed?
But individual by the name of Oscar Martinez,
And how old was Oscar Martinez at the time that you interviewed him?
19.
And prior to interviewing him, did you give him a Miranda warning?
Yes, I did.
And generally, just explain, what is a Miranda warning?
It gives him the right to, not talk to me at all, seek counsel. He has a right to choose to speak or not.
And do you have to give this, do you have to read the Miranda rights before every interview?
Yes, I did.
And I'm gonna approach with what's been what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 95. You recognize this disc?
Yes,
And have you had a chance to view what's on this disc?
I did.
What's on this disc?
That is my interview with Oscar Martinez.
Okay. And aside from a few redactions for legal reasons, has it been altered or amended in any way?
No, sir.
Your Honor, State would offer State's Exhibit number 95.
No objection, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit number 95 is admitted without objection.
Permission to publish?
Granted.
And what is this a video of?
That is one of our interview rooms down at the main headquarters.
And what's the purpose of taking someone into the interview room?
To speak to them privately away from everyone else.
Are
Have
there,
it recorded.
so there are cameras in the interview room.
Correct.
Pause the video. At 16:56:03, who are we seeing here in this portion of the video? I'll play it for a second.
Oscar Martinez.
And do you see Oscar Martinez here in the courtroom?
Yes,
And can you point him out and describe an article of clothing that he's wearing?
he is seated to my right, and he's wearing a jacket with a white shirt unbuttoned without a tie.
And let the record reflect that the witnesses identified Oscar Martinez. I am going to stop the video here at 16:58:31. Now, at this point, before you've interviewed Oscar, have you had a chance to watch all the video involved in this case?
No, sir.
Have you had a chance to speak to every single witness that's involved?
No, sir.
So why are you, what are you trying to do when you're talking to Oscar?
Trying to gain the facts, what really happened.
And based off your training and experience, are defendants who are in the interrogation room, are they often cooperative?
No,
And do they often tell the truth initially?
no,
But sometimes it happens.
occasionally.
Well, I'm Mark. Okay. How old are you? 19. What you did, bro?
July 9th, 2002.
Where is it?
July 9th, 2002, 070902.
07092. Okay, that's what I got. All right, listen, I'm gonna read you something, okay? I'm gonna tell you a couple of things that's gonna be important to you. You may want to listen.
Yes, sir.
Before you ask any questions, it is my duty as a police officer to advise you of your rights and to warn you of your consequences of waiving these rights. You have the right to remain silent. You do not have to make any statement, oral or written, to anyone. Any statement that you make will be used in evidence against you in the court of law or at your trial. You have a right to have a lawyer present to advise you before and during any questioning by police officers or attorneys representing the state. You may have your own lawyer present, or if you're unable to employ a lawyer, the court will appoint a lawyer free of charge now or any other time. If you decide to talk with anyone, you can, and you can't stop talking to them at any time you want. The above rights are continuing rights which can be urged by you at any stage of the proceedings. Do you understand what I just read to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So right now, it's 4:59, and I just read you your rights, and you understand what I just read to you. Today, man. What happened today, man?
So where you going to, we're just putting gas, we're gonna put gas, but
Who's we?
me and my friends, the name,
I want everyone that was in that car, in the truck.
it was me and then my friend Josh, and the driver's Josh, and then the other guy, the little kid Chris, he was in the passenger, and then the one that just passed away, and then like.
Chris is the one that passed away?
The other boy, yes, sir.
How old is Chris?
I'm not too sure, so I forgot. I'm not too sure.
Okay. What's his last name?
I think they're all here, I think so, I'm not too sure.
Okay, who else was with you?
Jeremy, the two we have right now, Jeremy and Junior.
Junior,
That's just what we call him, that's what I call him, Junior. Jeremy's the one, the other one here, and then Junior, the other one that we have here.
okay, would that be, one man?
Yes, sir,
Who else was with you?
that was it.
There was 4 of you.
Yes, sir.
What about the guy at the hospital?
Which one?
There's a guy at the hospital.
It was just, me, Junior.
So there's 5 of you.
No, there's me, Junior, well, there's, Josh is the one that got, the driver, the one that got hit in the side.
And he's at the hospital.
Yeah, so there's, Josh, me, and Chris, and Junior, and Jeremy.
There's 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What were y'all doing?
Okay, well, we were putting gas, and then we said we'll just put gas at another gas station, cause it was like, not like that expensive, but then we know another one where it's like a little bit cheaper gas. And so we're taking off, and we're putting off, there was a guy at the corner just standing like, in front of the store. And he had his hand in his pocket and he looked and he was just like that. He was like that. And we put over him like, what's up? And he's like, hey, I need him. Like, I didn't even know. And what's up? And then he just, my friend, the one, Chris, the one that got shot, he's like, hey, he has a gun. And then, cause he could see the extended clip. And he's just like, well, now you could not go. And then we're going to take off. And he was like, pointing it out a little bit more. So he's like, I'm going to need that. And then, that's whenever my friend Chris got out, he started tackling him, and then he couldn't really tackle him because he was smaller, but he got
Where did
him
you start tackling?
because he had a gun and he was trying to rob us. Because he pulled out the gun and he's like, I'm gonna need that, and he pulled out the gun. He started pulling out the gun, and then my friend Chris, when he just got out and tackled him, he's like, hey, you got your gun, watch out. And that's when he tackled him, and then we were all about to get off because he was drinking with my friend Chris, they were like for the gun, and then my friend Chris like let go of him, and he started shooting at us, and we hit my friend Chris.
Where was he standing when he started shooting at you?
The trash can, like where the trash can was at?
The dumpster?
Yes, sir.
Where were you on?
We were in the car,
Where was the car parked?
right there, like literally just where it was parked up the street. It was literally like just like where the back on like in front of the dumpster, like basically by the sidewalk, like not the sidewalk, but on the street, like parked, like not even parked though. We're just saying like wanted for.
So he was trying to jack y'all, or
Yes, he was trying to.
he was gonna jack five of you guys?
Yeah, cause he had his like gun. He was about to have his like gun. Well, basically he did. He put out. He's like, I'm gonna need that. And my friend saw the little extended piece right here, and he already started. Yeah, hey, there, he has a gun. Watch out. So then he opened the door, and then that's when he grabbed him because he was pulling it out like this. And then when my friend got on, like wrapped his arms on him, the gun like went like this, so like, he couldn't do it. And they started wrestling, and then he like tossed my friend off, and he started shooting at me. Or not at me, but at him, and then he shot my friend in the head.
I'll be right back.
Now I'm gonna stop the video at 17:03:40. So you spoke with Oscar for a brief period of time, right?
Correct.
And why did you only speak with Oscar?
Because the other two, we had detained with juveniles.
And is there a different process to speak with juveniles?
Yes,
And Oscar was the only adult.
yes, sir.
So what was Oscar's initial story?
That the individual standing outside the truck was trying to rob them
And why were they at the gas station?
to fill up with gas.
But they never did.
No, sir.
And so again, the story is this person who approached the car is trying to rob us. Is that correct?
That's his story, yes, sir.
All right, so he was trying to jack y'all. Okay. You know we have video.
Yes, sir.
What's the video gonna show us?
Like what happened?
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
So what happened?
This what happened, sir.
Okay. Who fired from you guys?
They had fired
Huh?
the kid that's dead now.
Who fired?
The kid that's dead now.
That's it? That's all the people that fired?
And then him,
Who?
the other guy.
Okay, who else?
I'm not too sure who were
Who threw the guns in the trash can?
I'm not too sure who the other guys.
Who,
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see. I was right there with my friend, and I was crying, and I was calling my mom, and I'm not too sure who the gun. But my friend had the gun, he was right there on the floor whenever he died, like he shot him in the head, and then he just hit his gun to his throat. And then I'm not too sure.
Now's the time to tell me everything, okay?
So I didn't tell you everything.
Do you know how many people died in this?
No, is my other friend okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Just one or two? I just heard that a random victim got shot across the street.
And he died. 60-year-old man minding his own fucking business and he gets shot and dies because you fucking guys start having a gunfight. Now I'm gonna ask you again, who shot?
He did shoot at my friend. He shot my friend, and I don't know my friend. I don't know. At first he missed a couple of shots because he didn't just shoot my friend right away. And my friend, one that's dead now.
Do you understand that we have GSR? You know what GSR is, right?
No, sir.
Okay, they took little samples of your hands.
Oh, yes, I know, sir.
Okay, and what's your hands gonna say? Did you fire a gun, yes or no?
No,
Are
sir.
your fingerprints gonna be on one of those guns in the trash can?
No, sir.
You positive?
Yes, sir. They're under it's because they had him, he had the gun on the truck and we had him there and then he literally just started shooting at us and then my friend.
I'm gonna walk away for a second, okay? I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes.
So look, I'm being straight up.
And I'm being straight up. I'm gonna be straight up.
I'm telling you everything, look, I'm telling you, the guy who is in the past, the driver shot, the one that got shot, I don't know if my friend's okay, the bigger one, he shot one of the guns. And then my friend Chris, the one that's dead now, shot one of the guns, and the other one, the one that's he had shot, they had threw the gun, he had threw the gun in the dumpster.
And who was this guy that took out from?
The guy who took out running was, the guy that was shooting at us.
What's his name?
I swear to God, I don't know his name, sir, we don't know his name.
So all these phones that I have, cell phones, I'm not gonna have a number for that guy that,
No, sir. No, sir, we really don't know this guy.
so y'all were at the wrong place, wrong time. So what you saying?
Yes, sir, because he's literally flagging us down. Like,
Why would you stop?
we didn't know what he wanted.
Why stop?
I don't know, when my friend stopped, the one that shot and the Josh, he stopped, he's like, what? He's like, what's up? And he's like, what's up, wait? And then he came and he's like, hey, no, I need someone. They were like, well, what's up? And then that's when everything started happening.
What is that?
So that is what happened. We were there, my friends had the gun, we weren't doing nothing.
So you were gonna put gas and decided not to put gas.
Yes, sir, because my friend, we're leaving to Walmart because he was gonna get mud tires for his truck, because those are all spare tires on that truck.
Whose car is it?
My friend Josh's, the
Okay.
one that shot in the heap, so we're leaving to Walmart.
And that car is legal?
Yes,
It's
sir.
not stolen?
No, it's his.
How about the guns, the rest of the guns?
Those are theirs, I don't know, so, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not legal because the auto is only one, so obviously, but. There's guns there and then,
Whose car is it?
it's Josh's mom's, y'all can run it and everything, y'all can ask her, it's Josh's mom's.
Is it stolen?
No, sir, it's under her name, it's Josh's mom's. The one that shot, y'all can run it and everything, all that's.
Okay. Where we all coming from today?
We're coming from his house,
Whose house?
my friend Josh's,
Where does he live?
we're like Clarky,
You came all the way from the east, what were you doing on that side?
because he was looking for mud tires because yesterday, like, because he wanted mud tires, but he doesn't like, he just like specific mud tires. And he said, well, we're going to have mud
Okay,
tires.
okay.
I'm gonna fast forward now. $17,1250.
Water, right? There you go. Um. You know, when we get these cases, I go out there with a bunch of other detectives and a bunch of people start working this case. And we start looking at video and all that kind of stuff. Well, we pull the video and it doesn't appear like that guy was trying to jack him.
So y'all would see it, y'all can see.
We did see it.
But
We did see it, sir. He did have a gun after he was being jacked. Now, I'm gonna ask you, because your buddies,
So-
they're not gonna,
no, I know, that's why I told you,
listen to me carefully.
yes, sir.
Your buddies, they're not gonna, they don't give a shit about you. Once all this comes down, they don't give a shit. You're the oldest one of the bunch,
I
man.
know, sir, that's what I mean, like, that's.
Whose idea was it to jack this people?
So we really weren't, he was like, just asking at first if we need anything, what he got, and then he started like, that's whenever we all started freaking out, cause he had the gun. And then, that's whenever the guy with the poopy hair, he had one, and then the guy that's dead, and the guy that shot, they had one, and then he just started putting out a gun, and then they just started firing.
Here in a second, I've got to get on the phone with the district attorney. And they're gonna ask me what I think looking at the video, this guy looks like he was about to be jacked.
So, I was
This is
just
what,
trying to
check it out.
I had got off.
I understand you weren't trying to jack him. Who in the group was trying to jack him?
I don't know, they had started, we literally didn't talk, I don't know if they had started, act like they just did out of nowhere, that we didn't talk about it, we didn't talk about jacking him, we didn't talk about nothing, so I just, they started.
Who was trying to jack him? The guy that you don't know, the guy that was minding his own business,
The guy that's dead now,
the guy that's dead now?
yes, sir, cause he had jumped out first, and cause he had shot him with the gun, and he had started freaking out too, that he had a gun, and then, so that's whatever, cause he was already putting it, I don't know if he, not like putting it, but you could see it, so we didn't know what he was doing or what, and then, so, that's whenever they started firing, I just ducked him in the back for cover, and
Okay, you're getting there. Because earlier, you know, you said that this guy was trying to jack you. Trying to jack the group. But then I approached you and said, we saw the video.
I know, but I'm saying I'm saying the same, you could see him with the gun. And
He may have had a gun, sir.
My
He-
friend got freaked out.
he did.
He opened the door, and that's whenever they had got into it, and that's whenever he shot him.
Okay, and I know the other guy had a gun. That's a fact. I know that. But whose idea was it to jack that dude? I know it wasn't yours.
No, sir.
That's not your idea. You're trying to change your life. Whose idea was it to jack that dude? That's all the simple question I'm asking.
So that the guy that.
Yeah, look at this.
The guy that did it, he just did it out of nowhere, like he literally, the guy that did not just open the door and started doing everything out of nowhere, and that's what never did. Of course, if you see one friend and then if you, like you, sir, if you know another person has a gun and you see your friend like struggling with it, you're gonna help him, so when he did out of nowhere, they had just, that's whenever shots just started going on.
I understand that part. I
No,
understand.
I'm not talking about saying like, he just did it out of nowhere, that's what I'm trying to tell you, like, we weren't like, hey, yeah, or they like, they were talking like, hey, yeah, that's what.
So the dead guy that's laying out there in the street right now,
Yes, sir.
your buddy,
Yes, sir.
he decided to go fuck with this dude.
And he had just opened the door and he got, don't watch out, and that's when they started.
You're getting there. I need the truth, man.
So that is the truth, that I'm telling you, you had asked me who had the gun, I told you, so I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know that, and I appreciate it.
I'm being cooperative with you.
Yes, you are.
I really am trying to tell you, it's just a group of friends, but I mean, at the same time, we're not bad people, it's just though, he had.
I didn't say you're bad
No, I
people,
know, so I'm just.
but the video shows that one of you guys is trying to jack it, and I'm trying to figure out who, and it's not you, because you're wearing all red, it's not him. Whose idea was it to jack this fucker?
I'm telling you, sir, it was the guy that was on the floor that's dead now, my friend.
He decided to jack him.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He was,
Thank you for telling me that. See how easy that was?
yes, sir.
Once you tell me, it all moves. So it was a dead guy. Where was he seated? Where was he sitting?
The passenger,
What passenger side?
the passenger,
Front passenger?
yeah,
Okay. So where was the SUV?
right there where the dumpster was at.
Okay.
The cars, like, the dumpster's like right here, and then our cars, like, the dumpster's right here, and he was like, we're walking right here, and our car's like, right here, this is the sidewalk, we're like, you know, how you parallel park, like, the
Yeah,
sidewalk,
yeah.
we're like, the dumpster's right here, like this.
And then what, the deceased, he gets out of the car and then approaches this dude?
You know?
The deceased, the guy that's dead, your buddy,
Yes, sir.
he gets out of the front passenger side to go walk towards the dude?
No, he was coming to the car, and then that's whenever, like.
What side was he coming to
To
the
the
car?
passenger side.
To the passenger side.
And then he had got out, like, my friend saw his gun, cause he was working like this with his hand in his jacket, and my friend saw he had a gun, and then my friend is dead now. And so whenever he just got out, and he had his gun, and that's whenever they had started like wrestling at first, and then that's whenever we just, he had missed the first couple of shots, like, to us he did, I'm not sure if that's whenever they started hitting. Cause my friend was shooting like that way, like towards, like, he was right there where the store was at, and he was shooting this way. So that's why I was, but whenever my friends were shooting, they were.
Where was the guy that took off running? Where was he standing? when he
Right there
started?
where the dumpster was at.
Okay,
So
perfect.
the house was right there behind it.
Okay, so from where that guy started firing, that means your buddy, the dead guy, he had to walk as far as the dumpster, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Cause my friend was right there, like, right there where the dumpster was at, right there.
okay, but he took it on upon himself that he was gonna go jack this dude.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
For what purpose?
Cause he had a gun now. Well, it wasn't like I'm saying, so it wasn't planned, it was just because he had a gun and my friend saw that, he was like, hey, y'all get in here, I don't know, my friend that was the street mate that did not, he's like, well, what's up? And then That's whenever he's like, hey, hold on, because when he started going like this slowly, like he started like going like this, just slowly on everything. And then my friend's like, hey, what you doing? You got a gun here? What you doing? What you reaching for? And he's like, well, like, good, go ahead. And he's like, nah. And then my friend's like, you got your gun one time. He opened the door, and that's whenever that's all that happened. And then they were wrestling. And then there was a couple of shots fired from him, and then we all started dunking. And then my friend, I'm pretty sure it was all shots they shot. And then he shot at us, and then he had shot my friend. And
Okay, we're not to that point yet about all that shooting. But to your knowledge, to what you know, your buddy, the dead buddy, he was gonna go jack this dude up.
yes, sir.
What was he gonna jack him for?
I don't know, because he freaked out because he had a gun. Like, it wasn't planned, like I'm saying, sir. It wasn't like planned, like we didn't plan.
Okay, so he had a gun, why not just take off?
Because he was gonna, we didn't know what he was gonna do. We didn't know if he was gonna try and rob us, like shoot at us when we take off, or we didn't know what. So basically we had a gunpoint, sir.
Okay,
Like what we did.
what purpose did your friend, the dead friend,
I can't speak for him. So I don't
why
know
would he get out
how-
if there was a gun?
Because I don't know, maybe just because he had one too on us. It wasn't planned, sir. I don't know if he just thought because he had one too, if he could. I don't know. It wasn't like I'm saying. We weren't like some, hey, yeah, let's do this, let's do it. It wasn't planned, sir. And my friend was wrestling with him. That's the only way everything happened.
Okay, when they wrestled, where did they wrestle?
When
Where did they
they
wrestle?
were right there in front of the chest, like right there with the
No, the
dumpster.
video didn't show that. The video shows them more close to the car.
Oh, they're like right there, like close to the car, and like we're not close to. Well, I don't know, sir. So I was like ducking because they had started doing that. And he had a gun, and then that's whenever when I looked, he was already like there, like at us, and so I just started ducking.
Alright, hang on.
Fast forwarding the video to 17:27:56.
So we're clear. Josh is the driver.
Yes, sir.
Chris,
That's the one that did.
where was he sitting?
I mean, that's the passenger.
Where was he sitting?
Like in the passenger. I was.
Back passenger maybe?
Was that I'm not? It was. Thought it was in the front. That's where he had helped out. I just started ducking.
Okay. So they're watching the video over and over right now, and that's who I called. Y'all sat at the gas pumps for a long, long time.
Yes, sir.
And then the guy walks up, he's at the front of the store.
Yes, sir.
Front, it's not by the dumpster, it's by the
Well,
front.
he was, but that's what I'm saying. We were parked at
Let
the
me-
gas station. I'm sorry, sir. But what
Just let me finish. So he's at the front of the store. Doors, because I got video of him standing here. Y'all say something to him. And then he's like, what? And he walks over.
He had said something to us already, so that's when
Okay.
we said, we had.
How can y'all hear him if y'all are sitting in the car, you never got out of the car?
The windows were all down.
Okay.
And we we're like, we're not driving like fast, like we're not driving fast, so that we
Okay.
we're just barely pulling off. So.
Okay, so then you pull up and he walks up, he talks to y'all for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's whenever he had walked up, sir, and he had been like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I got it. And everything. I'm like, well, what's up? And what's in here? And they were just talking. And then my friend was like, hey, like, he got the gun.
Who's gonna check him, man?
Excuse me?
Who's gonna check him?
We might get a jacket. I'm telling you, sir, we might get a jacket.
If that's where you wanna.
No, sir, it's not. I'm just saying, like, we did it, like,
There's a reason why the deceased, your buddy that's dead, jumps out from the back seat.
because he wanted to jack him, but he wanted to do it. It's just what, I don't know, like, what he was
So the
thinking.
dead guy wanted to jack him.
When he hopped out because I don't know, like, he's like, I don't know, sir, I don't know what he was thinking, but he had said he had a gun and then that's when he had just hopped out, sir.
The guy never showed a gun. The camera showed.
No, sir,
The camera.
we seen it, that's why we had started freaking. out.
Okay, you may
We
have,
seen the extended clip, he had an extended clip. of it,
okay,
sir.
you may have seen the gun, but he wasn't pulling for it, he wasn't reaching for it.
So he was standing like.
I understand that, sir.
I know, sir, but I'm just trying to tell you, like,
Where were you sitting in the Suburban?
I was in the back,
Where?
in the back, in,
The middle?
Yeah, no, not the middle, the other one, like I'm not.
The behind the driver's side.
Yes.
Okay, how could you see all that if he's standing right there by the passenger side?
So it's a car, it's like a big Suburban, like, we're just looking right there, like, we can see, like, with the windows rolled down, sir, it's like, we can.
Right.
He's standing right there, like, at the drive, and he could, like, everybody can see him, sir. It's not like, it's not like you can't see him, like, we all see him, we're all just looking at him, sir. That's when my family got to gun. Y'all started, you started freaking out, that's when everything started happening, sir.
When someone said he had a gun, did your friend already jump out before or after someone said maybe it's
After he said that, after they said he had a gun, then my friend hopped up, and that's when they started wrestling, and my friend got started to think.
something made you guys get out of that car, or not you guys, because no one else got out. Something made your buddy, the dead guy, get out of that car. What made him get out of the car? And it-
Well, I can't say, I'm sorry, I don't know, we weren't playing it, so that's what I don't know if we're trying to, like, we weren't playing to rob, we don't know the guy, we don't know his name, we don't know nothing about this dude, like, it wasn't planned, nothing was planned, we were talking, and we had just started him with the gun, and my friend, I don't know, they weren't whispering nothing, I didn't hear him whispering nothing, like, hey, get off, like, nothing, was just there, and I was just looking at him, and I hear my friend say, hey, he got a gun, and my friend got out.
Who said that?
One of the, what's his name, the proofreader, Jeremy, he's like, he got the gun, and that's whatever. They had got out the car, or not, they were Jeremy,
What's Jeremy gonna tell me?
I don't know. I don't know if it was Jeremy or Chris, the one that dead was not, that's just been like, saying the same thing, but I don't know if it was Jeremy or Chris, that, yeah, he got a gun, but like, he got a gun, and like, he got a gun, and that's whenever Chris, the one that didn't know, open the door, and that's whenever they started, everything happened.
Have you returned to change your mind, Brian?
I am, sir,
Why don't you tell me the truth?
that is, sir.
No, it's not, sir. I know damn well that's not the truth. If a guy has got a gun, why not get the fuck out of there? Why did someone have to jump out? Because the intentions weren't because he had a gun. You guys don't have a fucking badge or a gun. Well, you have a gun, but you don't have a badge to serve and protect. What's your reason behind getting out of a fucking car?
I didn't, sir, I didn't.
I'm asking, what is the reason for your friend to get out of a fucking car if the guy's got a gun?
I'm not sure, sir, they just.
What was the plan?
We didn't know, like, he just.
You may not have the plan, but someone in that car did. Because you don't strike me as the kind of individual that says, let's jack this dude. So now's the time.
First time I've been through.
You want to be in the military? Now's the time to come clean.
So they were trying to, I don't know, sir, I don't know how to explain, there was just, he had came and everything was happening so fast, sir, and I don't.
Well, I have nothing but time. Explain it to me.
I know, sir, but I'm just trying, I don't know how to explain it, sir, like.
Yes, you do. You tell me the truth.
That is the truth, I wasn't, they had been, I don't know how to say it. The guy had just wanted to run, sir, just, I don't know.
The dead guy wanted to rob him. Yes, you do know. Don't tell me you don't know. Because you wouldn't be saying that he was trying to rob him if you didn't know.
Sir,
Okay,
obviously.
let me
Knocked out the car, sir,
What was your first name again?
Oscar.
Oscar, let me explain something to you. When you start to say stuff like that, you're trying to tell the truth, but then you catch yourself.
No,
And
sir,
you say, I don't know.
It's just because, I mean, obviously he was trying, obviously you're gonna think someone's gonna try to rob me if they hop out the car. That's what I'm gonna think. If I'm walking or if I call someone, they just end up hopping out the car. I mean, that's what I'm gonna think. They're trying to. So I mean, obviously, sir, I can't speak for you. I don't.
Well, someone else had to know what was about to take place.
The driver.
The driver. He had to have known, right? You would think, because what if your dead friend jumps out and all of a sudden the driver takes off because there was a gun and then he's left there in the open? So someone else had to know the plan.
So I don't know who, sir.
Sir, help yourself out right now. I'm telling you, this is gonna go back for you.
So how, I didn't,
Because you're in a party that's responsible for 2 people that are dead. Okay, let me explain that to you in the state of Texas.
I know, sir.
No, you don't know, because you're sitting here fucking talking to me right now. That's why you don't know shit. Okay? You come clean.
So that,
What was the plan, sir?
so they were trying to.
Don't tell me, I don't know. What was the plan?
I'm not, okay, my fault, I don't mean to sound like, they were trying to rob him, I'm not that type of person to rob someone, I'm not.
I know you're not. Or else you would have been the one jumping out of the car. Or else you would have been the one driving that knew the plan. So that tells me that 2 people knew the plan right there. The driver and the dead guy. Because the dead guy's not gonna get out if the driver's about to take off. You must have overheard something, and now's the time to tell me what you overheard.
Them two, sir. It was just them two.
You did to what?
Them two that wanted to do it at first. And
Do what
They wanted to rob him at first.
at first?
When they tried to, I mean, I know they tried to, but when they were talking about like, cause they have the.
Well, obviously they didn't succeed, right? Because the guy got away. What were they trying to rob him for?
I'm not sure, Dad just said, cause at first they were like, what's he done? And that's when Daddy said, I got something, I went there, like, let's get him in there. Cause like, he was like talking, when he was running, not running, but coming to the car. He's like, hey, let me know. And that's when, well, what you got? And my friend was like, let's get him.
What friend?
The one that's been,
You said, let's get him?
and that's when the driver was just like, no, hold on, I don't even know.
And when we're talking about the driver, we're talking about Joshua, right?
Yes, sir.
Joshua Mejia?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, and then he just like, hold on, I don't know, and then that's what. I don't know, he was just saying, hold on, cause like, he wanted to see if he had anything first, and then that's whenever my friend Chris, the one that's been out, just said he had a gun, and that's when he got out.
But your intentions were to rob him, not your intentions, but people in the vehicle. The intentions were to rob this fucker, right?
I mean, he was, I don't know, I guess his son was pulling the gun first, sir.
Oscar. Keywords to stay away from right now. I don't know is not gonna work here, okay? Stay away from I don't know, because you do know. Okay, so let's stay away from I don't know. Okay, let's just get rid of those words. All right? So you know it was talked in the car, and now's the time to tell me.
So, I mean, there's them, some, no, my fault, that them, though, I wasn't a part of it, I wasn't a part of, like, Joe, I'm not the type of person that hop out of a, like, I know,
What was discussed between the driver, Joshua, and the deceased, Chris?
at first, whenever they had saw him, when he had first called us, then he like, y'all need anything, and then that's whenever Chris, the one that's there, is like, everything I see, but we guys get up, everything, and then my friend Josh was just like, well, I don't know, let's see, and then, so whenever he's like, hey, what's up, and he's like, well, then that's whenever he's on the need that, and he also, I don't know if he was trying to rob us at the same time, but we saw his go, like, he has a gun, and then that's whenever it started happening. That was just.
Maybe his gun was taken out because he knew what you guys were gonna do. Could that be the possibility?
I don't, sir, we weren't trying to rob, I wasn't trying to rob this dude, I wasn't, not trying to type of dude to rob this dude. I mean, in my first, like, shooting I've ever been in, I mean, I was shaking up, my friend just died, another friend is, I don't know, I don't even know how he is.
So you worried about your friend and the guy that, your other friend that got shot? What about the old man that was in his house minding his own fucking business? What about that?
Yes, I mean, him told me it wasn't, I mean.
Because you fuckers wanted to rob a
I
one dude.
didn't, wrong, we didn't, I wouldn't, so I'm not that, I didn't want to rob him, so I'm not the type of person to rob him, we didn't want to rob him, nobody, it's just. Yeah, everything happened, sir, like everything that happened, the way everything that happened, I don't know, it happened fast, I just came up and that's when they were talking and my friend just got up, sir.
What did he say he had?
And then at first he was just saying, hey, let me know, he's like, let me know, he's like, what you doing, he's like, what's good, he's like, I don't know, I got
Let
it.
him know what he had to tell you what he had. I mean, if you're gonna go shopping, you're gonna know, you say, hey, do you have some mud flaps for the fucking SUV that we're about to go buy? Did you ask him that? Maybe he was trying to sell some mud flaps?
No, sir.
No, he wasn't trying to sell mud flaps. What was he trying to sell?
So
What was he trying to sell?
We didn't get to that point because everything that happened, because he had just said, let me.
You guys talked at that by the Suburban for the longest time. We
Sir,
have that on
wasn't even
video.
that long, sir.
Yes, it was. Seconds matter when before a shooting goes down. A lot of stuff happens in between. You guys talked for a while. So what did he have? I don't give a fuck what he
I
had.
know, sir, but I.
It's too late for that.
I don't know, sir, he just had a bag, he was like, let me know, and then that's when they were talking, they're like, let me, which.
But you know what?
No, I'm trying to tell you, sir, they were asking him, they're like, hey, what do you got? They're like, what's up? And that's when they're like, what's up? Let me know. And we tell them, like, what do you got? And then that's whenever they had like just saw his bag, cause he had a bag, and then I don't know, that's whenever they had got up, or he had got up, Chris, and they had started
Because he was
wrestling.
gonna take his
They had
back.
started wrestling, and that's whenever everything happened.
So the guy he had a gun on him, but he never took it out. He wasn't gonna use it. He was gonna sell narcotics to you
I don't
guys.
know what we saw him the reason why, we started freaking out was because we saw him going like this is the gun we saw, he had it like this, and then we just saw him going like sliding it like this out, sir. If you would, sir, if you saw the video, you could see that too, sir, clearly, because.
Okay, so what was he gonna rob you for?
We don't know, sir.
Because you had guys that hadn't produced any money, you didn't even ask what was in the bag.
Yes, we did, we had asked him, and he's like.
What do you think?
He had just said just weed, and just let me know, he was just saying he had.
Okay, so you had weed. Did y'all guys pull out money? Did you say, look, here's some cash?
No, we didn't.
Then why would he rob you?
I don't know.
He wants to make a deal. He's trying to feed kids at home. He's trying to do everything. He's trying to make a living selling weed.
Sir,
So did y'all didn't pull out any money for him to come?
You're turning this on us when we were though.
I'm not turning anything on you. I want to know the truth.
My friend is dead and that, because when another dude's shooting this way back towards the house, which is clearly the back of us, so I end up trying to, like, I don't know, so. He shot two, y'all just act like we're like, you're saying he's trying to feed his kids, selling drugs is illegal, first of all, and of course you know, so he's not innocent either here.
No, no one's innocent of this. Nobody. Including you.
I'm a witness, I mean,
You're a witness.
I was there, but I mean, I know, but I didn't do anything, so I mean, I'm not the type of person to do anything.
Like I said, now's the time to come clean.
I did, sir, they had.
Okay, so there was gonna be a lick, right? Y'all were gonna pull a lick.
I don't know, sir, that's what you call it.
What did I say about the, I don't know.
Yes, sir, that's what you call it. No,
No, that's what it's called, a lick, right? You're gonna rob someone? A lick. You said you hang around with the wrong people, they know what licks are, right?
Yeah, I think, yes, sir.
You know what a lick is, right?
I don't know what you call it, you guys just say regular.
When you're gonna rob someone, right? It's a lick.
You're gonna jack somebody, I don't, it's like, they're not.
Okay, jack, lick, whatever you wanna call it. Your terminology is a little different than mine, I guess.
I don't. Sure, that was the truth, sir.
Okay. So so some people, maybe not you, but some people in the vehicle were going to pull a lick or jack someone.
I don't know, sir, that's how you're gonna put it.
No, you put it that way. That's what you told me right now, right? Did you say?
Because you're not trying to understand how, like, I'm coming from, like, if you see the video, you can see him sliding his gun out, sir, like y'all said, y'all see that, you can see him, like, he doesn't, I'm not saying he pulled it out on you, so like, he pulled it like this, and he didn't have his, like, gun point like this, sir, but you do see him like this, sir, like, pulling, like, going to the side, sir. I mean, you're a bunch of kids, I mean, we're scared that he's gonna shoot if we drive off. I mean, I don't know, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, I'm scared that if anyone's gonna shoot if we're driving up or anything, I'm scared if we got a gun or anything.
Why stick around?
That I'm not the driver, sir.
Yeah, but the driver and your Chris buddy that's dead, they obviously knew the plan, right? Am I right?
You know, it's between them, sir.
But it was discussed among them, right? Because the driver's sitting in the driver's seat and Chris, from the video, he's sitting in the back right seat. So they just didn't read each other's minds. They didn't communicate, sending mind gestures or whatever. They had to communicate it out loud what they were gonna do. Am I right? Okay, check it out. What am I thinking right now?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know. We weren't supposed to use that word, but I'll take it this time. You don't know what I'm thinking. So how was the driver gonna know what the other guy was thinking?
No, sir.
There had to have been a plan spoken inside the car.
There wasn't, sir.
There had to have been. There had to have been, sir.
I told you, sir, that's whatever they had said.
What did they say?
I just told you, sir.
No, tell me again.
They're like, if anything, they're just like, the main thing was see what he had, and then that's whenever Josh said, okay, well, let's see what he had, and then he came and that's whenever they were talking
And
about.
then what? Let's see what he has to do what?
That's literally what we said, because he was already walking up to the.
You
car.
said earlier that they were planning on
Sir,
robbery.
so I didn't say that. I mean, that's how you put it. So I mean, obviously, if you see a guy walking up, like I said, you're not the car, you're gonna think they're robbing you or whatever, robbing you. But sir, if we're gonna rob him, we're not gonna be talking all loud so where he can see, like, here was, sir. So
You walked up to your van, to your Suburban.
I know.
You had plenty of time to know what was going on. You guys sat at the gas pump for a long time.
We weren't that long, sir.
Hmm?
We weren't there that long.
At pump number 6?
Yeah, we weren't.
Yeah, you were there for a while. So a plan must have been discussed at some point. I'm trying to help you out.
I know, sir.
If you don't wanna help yourself, that's
I
fine.
am trying to help. I'm telling you, sir, I've been cooperative this whole time. How am I not trying to help myself? I told you, I've been telling you everything. I've been telling you what I know.
Okay, then start from the beginning.
So we're at the gas station, when we were pulling off, we were right there, well, that's when we saw him, he had already called us, and my friend said, what's up? And that's when he flagged us down like that, and then we had flagged him, like flag, my friend, the judge was flagging him down, like, what's up? And then we had just pulled over to the, like, where the dumpster was at, and like the sidewalk, and then that's whenever they had just, that's when he was like, let me know, like, hey, there's no, I got you, and then my friend, they were just talking. You know, what do you got? He was talking to my friend John, like, what do you got? And he sees, I don't know. And then that's whenever crazy, he got some gun. And then he just, like, he could see, because we all saw him, like, going like this. And you're like, hey, watch out, you good, and then got the gun. And then Chris got up.
You know that's not the way it went down, but that's fine.
Sir, what else do you want to do?
There was a plan. Whether it wasn't you that made the plan, but a
But
plan
you're
was
gonna try to
made.
put me in that plan.
If you say you weren't in that plan, you were in the plan.
I mean, I
I'm
know.
trying to get who made the plan up to rob this guy. That's all I'm asking. God damn.
It was the dead dude, sir. I just told you earlier.
You told me earlier, but you said no. You changed your mind. Oh, I never said that. That's what you're saying.
Well, because that's what, I mean, obviously, sir, if you see someone gonna get out, like, getting out the back car, what are you gonna think? Like, if you're, like, you know, stuff too, like,
Who else knew about the plan?
Draper, I told you, sir, I already.
So they discussed about jacking the dude.
That's what I had told you already, I mean, that's all.
Tell me again how they discussed it.
They had just said, let's see whatever you had. And
No, they didn't see, let's see whatever they had, so they're just gonna stick around. That didn't mean that they're gonna jack the dude. There had been something else to make them stick around. There had been something else where the two were on board to know when to jack this dude. You're just not gonna say, oh, let's stick around, see what he has. No, something was said, let's jack this dude, or wherever you wanna call it.
He just, they were just like, if he had anything, we were just gonna take it and they would just wanted to leave.
Who said that?
What's this guy?
The dead guy said, let's just take what he has and leave.
If he had anything,
Okay, dead guy says that.
yes,
Who does he say it to?
it's a driver.
Okay, so he made the plan with Joshua. Chris made the plan with Joshua to jack him.
Yes.
That wasn't hard, was it?
No, sir.
Stopping the video at 17:48:35. Did you ever continue speaking with Oscar from that point on?
No.
And several times in that interview, you were asking Oscar, or you were telling Oscar that he wasn't the type of person to rob someone. Why were you saying that?
To get his trust and to start talking a little bit more about what really happened.
Well, as the interview went on, did Oscar say more about what happened?
A little bit,
Was he consistent in what he was saying?
no.
What was he not consistent on?
Just changing up the story, went from filling up with gas to buying mud flaps. And he just didn't want to come clean that there was a plan made in the car.
And does he eventually say that there was a plan?
Yes,
Who was the plan between?
between Joshua, the driver, and Christopher, the deceased.
Now, did you ever talk to someone by the name of Jerry Ortiz?
No,
Jerry Ortiz?
but he came in and I tried to talk to him, but no, he didn't tell me what happened.
So you did at least get a chance to speak with him.
Correct.
And was that, how long after the date was it that you got to speak to Jerry?
It was later that night of the incident.
And as you previously just said, was Jerry forthcoming with info?
No,
Did he contribute anything that helped with your investigation?
nothing at all.
And show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 96. Do you recognize this video? This disc?
Yes, sir.
And what's on that?
That is the video from the outside convenience store by the dumpster.
And what does it show?
It shows the actual incident occurring.
Okay, and is this a true and accurate copy of the video you viewed?
Yes, sir.
Has it been altered?
No.
Your Honor, State would offer State's Exhibit number 96.
I reviewed that, Your Honor, no objection.
All right, State's Exhibit 96 is admitted without objection. All right, I'm sorry, State, just one moment. Before they play State's Exhibit 96, does anyone need a break or no? All right, if you'll continue then.
Permission to publish, Judge?
Granted.
And so what are we seeing in State's Exhibit 96?
That is the front left of the convenience store, front facing the convenience store.
Fast forward. 14/26/10. What are we seeing on the screen right now?
That would be Jerry Ortiz walking up to the store.
Go to 14/27/19. Pause at 14/27/23. What are we seeing right now?
That would be Jerry Ortiz walking towards the Suburban.
Skip ahead to 14/27/58. Do you see at the left side of the screen by the dumpster, do you see anything?
I see shadows
And what are these shadows of?
of the two people struggling.
And now at 14/28/07, who are we seeing right by that dumpster?
Jerry Ortiz.
What is he doing?
He looks like he is firing a weapon and trying to avoid getting hit.
And I'm gonna rewind just a few moments to 14/28/07. Now, do you see, is there something peculiar about Jerry's feet?
The shoes are missing.
So he doesn't have shoes.
No, sir.
So you reviewed this video after you reviewed the first video, correct?
Way out there, yes, sir.
And what does this video indicate to you?
That Jerry was being robbed at the time.
And does it show Jerry shooting?
Yes,
And then it shows Jerry running away?
correct.
Show you what's been marked as State Exhibit number 97. This is the video you viewed today. Had you had a chance before to see this video?
No,
Okay, and was viewing it, I believe you viewed it yesterday, is that correct?
a little bit, a portion of it yesterday,
But you saw the full video today.
today.
And had you had this video before?
No, sir.
So when you conducted your investigation, you did not have access to this video.
No, sir.
But based on the other videos and your knowledge of the case, does this video, State's Exhibit number 97, does it show another angle of what happened?
Yes, it does.
And is it a true and accurate depiction of what happened?
It is.
State would offer State's Exhibit number 97.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, State's Exhibit 97 is admitted without objection.
About 3:35:04. Now, Detective Morales, did you see that vehicle that just pulled into the gas station?
Yes,
What vehicle was that?
that's the Suburban that was involved in the incident.
Now, are you aware, how long did that Suburban stay at that gas pump?
Seconds, I couldn't tell you. It stayed there for a while.
I'll fast forward all the way to 3:36:40. Has that Suburban finally pulled away?
Yes,
Now I'm pausing at about 3:37:27. Do you see anyone walking out away from the convenience store?
yes,
Who is that?
that's Jerry.
I'm pausing at 3:37, I believe it's 55. What are we seeing happening in the video now?
That would be Jerry and Christopher struggling.
And I'm pausing at 3:38, I believe it's 03. Can you tell what's happening right by that dumpster?
Looks like there's a push off.
And then what happened there?
The shots start firing.
And are we seeing Jerry he's acting in the same way that he acted in the other video, is that correct?
Correct.
And now what are we seeing?
Jerry takes off running and the other people that are inside the vehicle come out to look at the condition of Christopher.
And it's difficult to see who's who in this, correct?
Correct.
Do you remember what was Oscar wearing on that day?
He was wearing all red and black tennis shoes.
So up to 3:38:39, we haven't seen Oscar yet.
No, sir.
So that would lead you to believe what?
He's still with the vehicle.
Now I'm pausing at 3:39:00. Can you see any movement inside the vehicle while this video is playing?
I did. This was slight, if that's what you want to call it. I couldn't testify to it. I'm testifying to it, but I couldn't tell if that's what it is, movement in the vehicle or a glitch in the video.
Fair. Pause the video at 3:39:46. Who's running away from the vehicle?
To one of the other minors.
Were you able to make a determination as
I,
to,
I could,
and what were they doing?
at this point, he's gonna run up to a recycle bin. And he threw, 3 guns inside the recycle bin.
And was SAPD ever later able to recover those weapons?
Yes, sir.
Also video at 3:39:49. Who do we see in this video now?
Oscar Martinez.
So he's finally gotten out of the car.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell, what was he doing around where Christopher was?
Can't tell from that video.
Now I'm pausing the video at 3:41:20. Does anyone ever move the vehicle?
Yes, it's being recorded.
Was it Oscar?
Uh. Can you fast forward it a little bit
Fast forward.
or play it?
Here, I'll rewind it about.
No,
So it was not Oscar who moved the vehicle.
no, sir.
But while this video's been playing, has Oscar been going back towards the vehicle before it moved?
Yes.
Now, Detective Morales, I'm going to approach you with what's going to mark the state exhibit number 98. Show you what's the contents of state exhibit number 98. Do you recognize this disc?
Yes,
And have you had a chance to watch this disc? What's on this disc?
yes, sir.
And what is on this disc?
It's a person in the back of. Resident fireman.
This a true and accurate copy of the video you've seen before as a part of this investigation?
Yes, it is.
And has it been altered or amended in any way?
No,
Your Honor, state would offer state exhibit number 98.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, state's exhibit number 98 is admitted without objection.
Fast forward to about 14:27:40. Pause at 14:27:54. Detective Rouse, Did you see that person that's in the top left corner of the video?
Yes,
Did you ever make a determination as to who that was?
I did.
Who was that?
I couldn't tell you the last name, but the first name is Harley.
Was he a resident of that house?
Yes,
And how old was Harley?
I couldn't tell you that. He's a kid.
Now I pause it at 14:28:20. Now, Detective Morales, were you ever able to make a determination as to whether Harley had a gun?
Yes,
And did he?
he did.
Did he fire that gun?
He sure did.
Now, were any of the casings that were found that Harley had?
No.
Was the bullet that killed Enrique Bocanegra, was that shot by Harley?
No.
We just saw 14:28:24, the right-hand side of the screen. You see someone running down the alley?
Yes,
And who is that running?
Jerry Ortiz.
And where is Jerry going?
He attempted to jump his own fence, but kept running down the alley.
I'm pausing at 14:28:50. Did you just hear the audio there?
I heard some audio, yes.
Could you understand what that person was saying?
I couldn't make it out.
Pause at 14:29:12. How do you know that Harley didn't kill Enrique?
The bullets got matched up when they got sent to the lab, and it's a negative on that.
Speaking of the bullets getting matched up, was the bullet that killed Enrique Bocanegra, was that ever tied to a specific gun?
Yes,
Was it?
yes, sir.
And what gun was that?
Jerry Ortiz.
Well, was Jerry Ortiz's gun ever found?
No,
So how do you know it was Jerry Ortiz's?
because it was the same that came out of Christopher.
And why there was that other angle from across the street? Not this video, but the other a prior video. Why was that video not recovered?
It was recovered by our tech team.
Was that video ever given to you?
No,
And if no one told you about it, would you have known about its existence?
no, sir.
So no one ever told you.
No, sir.
Should you have asked to see if there was more video?
I should have. Yes, sir.
In hindsight, was that a mistake to not ask?
Yes, sir.
Now, you earlier testified that when you talked to Jerry Ortiz, he did not give you any information. Is that correct?
Correct.
Have you had an opportunity to review the written statement that Jerry Ortiz gave to the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Had you reviewed that before the end of your investigation?
No, I did not.
That was not made available to you?
That was not given to me, no, sir.
I'll show you what's been marked as Appendix Exhibit 3. Is this the statement from Jerry Ortiz that you reviewed?
Yes, sir, it is.
And when did you get a chance to review that?
Earlier this morning or this afternoon.
And so that information wasn't available back in February of 2022.
No, sir.
And after reading that statement, did that change your opinion as to what your conclusion in this case was?
Yes, sir.
Well, initially, what did you think happened?
I originally charged five individuals,
Who did you charge?
the four in the Suburban and Jerry Ortiz as well.
And how soon after this incident did you charge Jerry Ortiz?
Jerry Ortiz, I walked a warrant on him the following morning.
And that was after he didn't give you any information in his interview.
Correct.
But based off of that statement, would that have helped in your investigation?
Yes, sir.
And after reading that statement, does that change your opinion as to, or would that have changed your opinion as to what would have happened with Jerry Ortiz?
Yes, it would, sir.
How would it have changed your opinion?
Self-defense.
And without that, you decided to walk a warrant. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
But with that now, you're saying that that would have changed your position.
Yes,
And after reviewing all the video that you've now examined, does that change your opinion as to what happened with Jerry Ortiz?
what happened in the incident, sir?
What happened in regards to Jerry, his involvement?
Right, no, it does, it changed the fact that he was being, he was being robbed at the time.
Now, you reviewed this video, correct?
Yes,
And in the video, does Jerry have the gun out when he goes to the Suburban?
no,
Does he pull the gun out at any before Christopher Mejia gets out of that car?
no,
When does Jerry pull the gun?
when he is being attacked and apparently being fired upon.
And at that point, had Jerry already given over items to the people in the Suburban? And what had he given?
Shoes, and I believe the baggie or the marijuana.
So you would agree that at the point that Jerry pulls out his weapon, he'd already given up everything that he had, most of what he had had.
Yes,
So Jerry was not the first person to pull a gun.
no,
What was Jerry responding to?
the threat.
Did you ever collect DNA from any of the defendants?
Yes,
Have you given over any reports regarding the collection of the DNA to the DA's office?
no, sir.
What about the search warrants?
Search warrants.
Can you recall were any reports generated or search warrants generated?
I can't go back that far and recall whether they were written in notes or whatever.
Was that a mistake?
Yes,
Just to be clear, did any of the guns in the trash cans or in that trash can, did they play a part in Enrique Bocanegra's death?
no,
And you were never able to recover the gun that did play a role.
correct.
And at the conclusion of your investigation, you made a determination to arrest 5 individuals.
Yes,
But after having reviewed all the video and reviewed Jerry Ortiz's statement, does your opinion change as to one of those individuals?
yes.
What does that change?
Jerry Ortiz was acting in self-defense.
Has your opinion changed as in regards to what Oscar Martinez's involvement?
Not at all.
Pass the witness.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, do you want to recess or continue with cross? All right, defense, you may proceed.
Detective Morales, my name is Michael De Leon. I represent Jerry Ortiz. With a drug dealer,
Excuse me, counsel,
yes,
you represent, I think you said Jerry Ortiz?
did I say Jerry Ortiz?
I think so.
We talked a lot about Jerry.
All right, thank you.
Oscar Martinez. Detective, a drug dealer, which essentially for lack of a better word, is what Jerry Ortiz was, correct? Selling marijuana, it's illegal?
Yes.
Okay. How does he get the benefit of doing something illegal and then invoking self-defense at that point? Can you explain that to the jury?
Well, at the point that, he gave up all the property, being, had a gun, had him pulled on him, they jump out on him. And at that point, it'd be a self-defense.
Okay, but Jerry Ortiz knows he's about to make a transaction for an illegal offense, a misdemeanor offense, you would think a misdemeanor offense for marijuana. He knows that's a crime. And yet you're telling the jury here that somehow he gets the benefit of the law when it comes to self-defense when he's doing an illegal act?
And that's the way I presented it to the district attorney's office, charging 5 individuals. I allowed them to make a call.
But with Jerry Ortiz, you're saying now that he is entitled to self-defense, correct?
After looking at all the evidence, yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have a discussion with Assistant District Attorney Lauren Glasscock any time in December of 2022?
I couldn't tell you the date, but yes, I came in contact with her several times over the
Okay.
matter.
There was a discussion about that, correct?
Yes,
Okay. You understand that well, let's backtrack a second. The night of this shooting, Jerry Ortiz shows up to SAPD with his parents, correct?
yes,
He was taken into an interview room, just like Oscar Martinez,
yes,
and you were there to listen to what he had to say. And in the end, I'm sure he gave his name, date of birth. But besides telling you he was at the convenience store, he didn't give you any other details whatsoever, correct?
not one thing.
And then he asked to leave. Was he allowed to leave?
Yes, he was.
And why was he allowed to leave?
Because I did not read him his Miranda rights. I thought that would have him open up a little more about the incident.
Sure, and that's totally fine and legal, correct?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. But Jerry chose not to cooperate at all at that point. It seemed like, when you show up to a police station, you're there to help, to try to explain your side or something. But he helped in no way whatsoever.
Not at all.
And you didn't even get to the point of saying, where is the weapon that you had, Jerry?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Fast forward 10 months, Jerry Ortiz shows up with his attorney at the DA's office and starts giving a statement. You know that now, correct?
Not, yes, sir.
Okay. And he's had 10 months to perfect his story however he wants to suit it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Why didn't you interview Joshua Mejia, the driver?
At the time I finished up with Oscar, the detective that was my wing, he was out at the scene and he developed some information on the possible identity of the person that ran away. So we placed everything on hold and I had to go out to type up a warrant to get inside the house.
Okay. And the house you're talking about is Jerry Ortiz's house,
Yes, sir.
located at 823 West Magnolia.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And I think that's the house we're talking about in the corner.
Yes, sir.
And this video, just completely off subject, this is the Beer King convenience store back surveillance camera, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got a warrant for the house, for Jerry Ortiz's house. And upon searching the house, what did we find?
We found a handgun that was taken into custody.
Okay, and that was a 40 caliber Smith.
I believe I'd have to look at the notes.
I have to look at them too. You want to look at your notes real quick? Just
I don't have them with me.
you believe a copy of your report would assist you?
Yes, sir. My prosecution, I guess.
Yes. Detective, just for identity purposes, I'm gonna mark this as defense exhibit number. Somebody object if I'm wrong, 7?
Yes. That's correct.
Is this, if you could look at that and determine, is that your prosecution grant?
It's a copy of it, yes, sir.
All right, so let's go back to the home at 823 Jerry Ortiz's home. What kind of weapon was found there?
A Smith and Wesson SD 40 BE with serial number Hotel Foxtrot Uniform 8500.
All right, and were there any bullets associated with that?
It didn't show on here.
Okay. Did you do a trace on that gun to determine who was the owner?
I believe it included that all guns are traced and then put in the packet.
Okay, and do you recall who the gun came back to?
I should know.
Okay. Would you disagree with me that it came back to Jerry Ortiz's mother, Ms. Hernandez, at that same address?
I do not have the form from the ATF.
Detective, I'm gonna show you what's been marked as defense exhibit number 8. And ask you if you recognize that.
This is the ATF request that's in them.
Okay, and is that for that 40 caliber that you confiscated from 823 West Magnolia?
That is correct.
And who is the owner? Does that refresh your memory?
Cynthia Hernandez.
Okay, do you know that person to be the mother of Jerry Ortiz?
Yes,
Okay, so this was listed at that address for Jerry Ortiz's mother.
yes.
Okay. While we're on the subject, let's talk about Jerry Ortiz had a girlfriend who lived at that same address, and her younger brother was Harley.
Correct.
Looking at that video, I forget exactly what number it is. We saw Harley, a kid. I would imagine well under the age of 10, but it appears if you zoom in on that video, and I believe you have, it appears he has a semi-automatic handgun in his hand, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How did you determine that he had fired a shot from that 40 caliber gun?
He was, we brought him in and interviewed him.
Okay. And he stated he shot at least one shot, or
One shot fired in the ground.
did he say where he was shooting or why, or?
He just said he fired one time into the ground.
Okay. No shell casings or anything recovered?
Nothing.
Okay. Did you find it, as part of your investigation, did you find it odd that Jerry Ortiz's girlfriend's younger brother was out there with a 40 caliber at the exact same time Jerry Ortiz is about to make a transaction?
I did.
Yeah. Okay. And we determined that the 40 caliber recovered from that home was not the gun that fired the bullet that killed Enrique Bocanegra.
Yes.
Okay. Now, a little while ago, you stated that Jerry Ortiz's gun, which was never recovered, was the gun that fired those multiple bullets into Enrique Bocanegra's home.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Christopher Mejia, he was shot with entry and exit wound out the back of his head, and I don't believe that bullet was ever recovered. Do you recall that?
I don't recall it, but it was compared to other samples found at the scene, and that's how they determined it was fired from the same gun.
Okay. So overall, we understand that all the bullets that Jerry Ortiz fired, 10 plus bullets, were going, the jury's seen me do this, but not you. If we have the green Suburban, we have the convenience store. Okay. We got a dumpster over here and Enrique Bocanegra's home. Where do I put that? Jerry Ortiz was firing in this direction, correct?
Yes.
And there's no reason to think any bullets that were fired from the occupants of this vehicle, one or more, were fired in this direction at all.
I don't know,
In fact, we think all the bullets were going in this direction,
towards the convenience store.
towards the convenience store, yes. Just common sense, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's talk about Juan and Jeremy. Both of them were juveniles. They were placed in juvenile. Do you know the resolution of their cases?
I'm sure not that.
Okay. And they were charged with capital murder as well?
Correct.
Okay. Joshua, do you know he was 17 at the time, I think, charged as an adult. Do you know the resolution of his case?
I do not.
Now, let's talk about Oscar Martinez's interview with him. He was there at SAPD, obviously not free to leave. He was under arrest.
Yes,
You read him his Miranda, which is proper. Before Oscar Martinez, you had interviewed, I would imagine, hundreds of suspects in interviews just like that, correct?
yes,
Okay. Fair to say that people who are being interviewed are sometimes nervous, scared,
yes,
okay? Like you said before with the state, I mean, you typically don't get truthful answers, at least from the beginning, correct? Because people want to stay out of trouble as much as possible or protect others, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with Oscar, overall, when we boil it down to, and we all saw the interview, when it boils down to, we know that Christopher Mejia and his brother Joshua Mejia, the driver, had decided to jack or rob the guy who was going to meet them at the convenience store, correct?
Yes,
Okay. There are many times you talked about with Oscar saying, look, I understand you're not the type of person who would rob. I understand, you aren't involved in it, correct?
yes,
Okay. And for the jury's benefit, sometimes you do a kind of good cop, bad cop type thing, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. Sometimes you want to be very patient with someone. Sometimes you want to get a little bit loud and that might provide the truth, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But ultimately, when it came down to it, Oscar said on multiple occasions, he wasn't a part of it. He was certainly there, correct?
Correct,
He never said he had a weapon, correct?
correct.
Ultimately, we found 3 firearms in the vehicle. Would that be correct? I'm sorry, that's not correct. Ultimately, 3 firearms were found in the blue recycle bin,
Yes,
okay, that we have tied back to the green Suburban. Okay, and then there was one air rifle, which is not a firearm, correct?
yes,
Yeah,
correct.
you can see it right there. State's exhibit, whatever the state's exhibit number is. You were able to see this.
Yes, sir.
And that's not a firearm, correct?
No,
Okay,
I don't.
not a firearm. And if there was what looks like a firearm and 3 other firearms, that means a 4th or the 5th person in the car did not have a firearm.
Correct,
Sound right? 4 that are or look like a firearm, and then 5 people. So, with the gas pumps, real quick, I counted that green Suburban is probably at the gas pumps for about 1 minute, 15 seconds approximately. Not necessarily a long time, but they were just sitting there, correct?
correct.
And Oscar was, I think, initially said they were going to get gas, or they were going to get gas. Not that anybody got out to get gas, correct?
And the position of the vehicle was far away from the gas pumps. And I want to recall that the gas tank was on the other opposite side when I looked at the vehicle.
Yeah, I'll agree with you about it. Boils down to it. It seems like we've got evidence that Christopher, who jumped out of the car to go after Jerry Ortiz, and Joshua, the driver, had this plan that they were going to be doing, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Do you recall, as part of your investigation, and I'm jumping around a little bit, sorry about that, were patrol officers asked to go look in the alleyway for any type of evidence such as a jacket or for a firearm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know approximately how far they would have gone in the area?
I do not, sir.
Okay, but ultimately, no jacket was recovered, no firearm was recovered.
No.
Okay.
I think that happened later on at night after we left Jerry's house, so there was a lot of time in between that.
Okay. And then all these videos that we watch, from multiple angles, it seems like we know that Christopher Mejia got out of a car with a firearm. There's audio that we can hear at the beginning of the gunfire, and once the gunfire starts, it doesn't stop. It goes on for a while. I tried to count, it was too hard, but 18 to 20 shots ultimately. The first two shots were within split seconds of each other. Agreed?
Yes,
Yeah. Any way to know, as part of your investigation, whether Jerry Ortiz fired the first shot or Christopher Mejia?
no,
There's no way to know. Okay. I don't know if you recall. Let me ask. As Jerry Ortiz walks up to the green Suburban, he essentially, if I'm Jerry Ortiz and this is the window here, he kind of comes up and turns a little bit like this, starts talking. Sound correct?
yes,
Okay. He's doing that. He never really does make a good turn to say, I'm looking back here towards the back seat. You recall that from the video?
I can't interpret what he saw, sir.
Okay.
Whether he saw it out of the corner of his eye or not, I can't answer for that.
Okay, fair enough. And do you recall, from the window here, if it was, the glass was completely rolled down, or was there a good 2 or 3 inches there?
I couldn't tell you. I'm not a car expert, probably a couple of inches left over.
Ultimately, the jury can look at that video and determine if that's correct. That's where I was going. Okay, so watching the multiple videos that we've seen, we see Christopher get out of the car, have a struggle with Jerry, and then it appears that Jeremy Martinez gets out of the car. Eventually, Juan Mejia gets out of the car. Oscar's, like you stated before, testified to, Oscar is pretty much inside that Suburban for a good, I don't know, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever it might be, but for a while. Definitely the last one to get out, okay? We know now that the driver, Joshua, was shot. Do you have any part of your investigation? Did you determine if Oscar was trying to tend to Joshua because he had been shot?
Nothing points that direction. I couldn't tell you that.
Either way, correct?
Either way.
Okay, fair enough. And there were 4 bullet casings found on the driver's side of the green Suburban, where Joshua Mejia was driving. Okay, is that kind of consistent with somebody discharging a firearm from the driver's side of the vehicle? You might have driver casings on the driver's side.
That's hard to tell, sir, because if you have a right or left ejection portal, and then it's a small environment, the spent casings could hit items, a person, bounce back and bounce all over the car. So it's hard to tell.
It's hard to answer that question.
Yes, sir.
I know it is. Those 4 shell casings were found within a approximate, small area of each other. So, we'll never know for sure, but they're pretty close together. Let's talk a little bit about, also on the videos, Oscar Martinez is dressed in red shirt, red shorts. There's very, very hard to not distinguish him from the other people in the video. Oscar Martinez definitely did not put any guns in a blue recycle bin, correct?
Correct.
The eventually the Suburban moved up a little bit. That person was definitely not Oscar Martinez.
No.
He was out of the vehicle at the time.
Correct.
As part of the investigation overall, we know from body cam videos that Oscar was on the phone most of the time, calling his mother, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he was on the phone. I don't know who he was talking to.
He's talking to somebody.
Right.
Okay. Earlier you stated you walked a warrant on Jerry Ortiz for capital murder. Just so we're clear, can you tell the jury what is walking a warrant?
Typing up a warrant, stating my probable cause and getting it signed by a magistrate.
And you got that done on February 23rd, 2022, correct?
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, overall, we know that, well, let me back up my statement. Based on your investigation, was there any evidence to show that, was there any video evidence to show that Oscar Martinez had a firearm at the scene there on February 21st, 2022?
Did you just say video evidence or evidence in general?
Video evidence.
Video evidence, no video evidence.
Okay. GSR was done. We've heard those results. I think all the parties had GSR.
Yes, sir.
Not unusual, given that 20 shots are being fired.
Yes.
Okay. The 3 guns that were in the blue recycle bin were dusted for prints. No prints are found, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That fake firearm, let me say the number. State's exhibit number 39A. This was never printed, correct?
I'm not aware of it. That would be a CSI job.
Okay.
So
And CSI testified earlier in front of the jury and said this was never even attempted to be printed.
there you
Okay. Do you recall where this was found?
go. That's no.
Okay, we've heard information this was found in the back of the Suburban. Okay, any reason to disagree with that?
If that's where CSI found it, then no disagreement on this.
Okay. Now, going back to Oscar Martinez in his interview, correct me if I'm wrong. He didn't admit to being part of the plan, but he heard the scheme or he heard that the agreement by Christopher and Joshua, correct?
Right.
Okay. And does being part or just being there constitute a criminal offense of murder?
No.
Okay, you need something more than that, correct?
Probable cause, yes, sir.
Okay. And again, you stated on several occasions in that interview with Oscar, I know you didn't rob anyone. When you say that statement, I know you didn't rob anyone. At that point, did you have any evidence that Oscar had robbed anybody per se?
No.
Okay. And you stated there was some mistakes on missing out some of the videos which recently have been discovered.
Yes.
And there was some mistakes on some, I don't know, DNA swabs or something like that?
Yes, correct, sir.
Okay. And you'll agree with me that they're at the scene, very chaotic scene. Have you ever been to chaotic scenes like that before?
Within less than a week, I've made a bigger chaotic scene. That's why this got put on the back burner. Yes, sir.
That's unfortunate. Okay. But this particular scene, we got 30 officers, we got evidence techs, we got ambulance, SAPD, the police chief came out there. Do you recall the police chief coming out?
Yes.
You got TV, you got a crowd of people, at least 60, 70 people out there. Some just curious, some family of Mr. Bocanegra's, the decedent. Very chaotic scene, correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And as part of your job, obviously, as the police, you're there to try to figure out what happened and who's criminally responsible, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in this particular case, we know that Jeremy Martinez, juvenile, age 13, his juvenile case was dismissed. And Joshua, apparently the driver, age 17 at the time, has been sentenced to prison. Okay. Christopher obviously is deceased, and Juan, well, there's no evidence either way what happened to Juan's juvenile case. So based on your understanding of the law, mere presence alone is not enough to be charged with a felony murder type of charge, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
State.
Nothing from the state.
All right, is this witness excused?
Yes, excuse from the state.
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, my excuse for the rest of it.
Yes, you're done
Okay.
for today.
I have to go to work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, state, call your next witness.
State rest, Your Honor.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give us a brief recess and I'll bring you back in at 4:10. Remember my previous instructions. Everyone, please rise.
Yeah, there's no need.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um.
We're ready.
All right, for the jury?
Until the judge is gonna ask them.
Oh, we're gonna go back on the record. It'll be brief. All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, state, it's the court's understanding that you've rested, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Defense, do you rest?
Your Honor, after consulting with my client, we will rest, defense rest.
All right, state, do you close?
Yes, Your Honor, stay close.
Defense, do you close?
Defense rest and close, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have you all come back on Monday at 9 a.m. Now, because there are jurors that are called up on Monday, it's going to be crowded at the garage. So if you arrive by about 8:30, there should be a parking space available for you. Remember my previous instructions. You're not allowed to start deliberating about this case whatsoever. Don't even think about it over the weekend. You are not allowed to start deliberating with each other or with yourself. You're not allowed to discuss what you've heard in this courtroom with anyone. You're not allowed to view any media. Everything that you need to know about this case is to come from inside this courtroom and nowhere else. Does everyone understand? All right. And so we'll be back on Monday at 9 a.m. Enjoy your weekend. And if I could have Mr. Let me get the